di Gambia la abemu arjele di ijamano demu base salo gele ya berola e kuram fizandi janne ado base man fato tro salo ya berola pero selon le mouvement ceesay ibebe kala manone di $75 million project yo fanandati wonem base sonkunda manoti banyunu bala salo fana fena kana lamen koto ni pasamas mano kana pareda mbema adama mbema jogo fatu ke mazajo ke mbara
in the system. They are employers accused them again.
من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Fellow Gambians, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah ta'ala wa barakatuh. As a lot of you are aware, either via Facebook posts or videos or via conventional newspapers in the country, there are some Gambians that are stranded in Lebanon, Beirut. These Gambians, as we know, are ladies. If there are men, we are not yet aware of that. A lot of them are ladies. And they went to Lebanon, of course, at different times. Some spent 5 years, some, according to information, 9 years, some 6 years, some 4 years, some 3 years. And, a lot of them, for one reason or the other, are no longer in their jobs. And they badly want to return to the Gambia, to their families. Now, the rest, a lot of you knew about it because I cannot go into the history of the situation. But to be very brief about the history and to the thing that I want to discuss, to the thing that I want to express my views on, would be, like that's what I'm going to be spending a lot more on. The history is just going to be a bit because, we had a blast in Beirut, an explosion. I mean, a chemical depot somewhere in Beirut, in the capital in Lebanon, exploded. And, before that, economic hardships, were, of course, looming and growing in Lebanon because of the war in Syria and a lot of instability in the Middle East. So when the explosion happened 3 or few weeks ago, a lot of people that had domestic workers, especially these Gambians, 99% of them went to Lebanon and served as domestic workers for Arab families. Now, for most of them, their employers let them go because they could not afford to employ house helps anymore. And they wanted to go home, but then they got stranded. The government was appealed to, Gambia government, and government of the Gambia under Adama Barrow was doing its best, was going through procedures, bureaucratic procedures, to try and get the facts and try and help get Gambian citizens out of Lebanon to the Gambia. Now, we had a lady, a very nice lady, I would think, Lovette, whether in Sweden but in one of the Scandinavian countries, who wanted to offer assistance. And I read few of her posts myself, talking about the plight of the ladies in Lebanon and how they need to come back to the Gambia. And I saw one of her posts where she did talk about, or she did write about, the issues he had with foreign affairs, the government, particularly the spokesperson, ceesay, who is himself a journalist, who is the communications person for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Gambians abroad. And the discussions were not really favorable when it comes to the area of Seho. And then we saw video or an audio, recorded audio, which had a conversation that ceesay and Lovette had, a private conversation. Now, I listened to both and I followed the case very extensively. I've asked governments, officials that are in charge, government officials that knew something about this Lebanon, Gambian stranded in Lebanon case, and I've known the little I know. I've been following, even with ceesay myself. I mean, Sehu is a big brother of mine. I mean, not particularly this case, but then certain issues in foreign affairs as it relates to people in the diaspora. A lot of condemnations are sent to government, a lot of criticisms, a lot of things that people are saying against the government. Now, I have a view that I've come here after listening to and reading the post of Lovette, and also reading the statement from Foreign Affairs. I believe I have my own views to express here as it relates to this matter. First and foremost, a lot of Gambians, we all need to be careful. From Bayang Hakilotu, ñun ñep as unity ak grumeti, Christians and Muslims, as people that are God-fearing or people that are supposed to be God-fearing, we need to be careful when we speak. We need to be careful when we express our opinions on matters. This post-dictatorship has brought a lot of good to our country, but it equally had brought a lot that needs to be watched very carefully, especially in the domain of information. How people bring information to the social media, because there is no censorship on what they say. There is nobody deciding what is offensive and what is not. Nobody checks what is false and what is right. And now that the narrative that people are trying to give is whatever comes from government is a lie, is not credible. Whatever comes from government is not serious. Whatever government says is bullshit. Anybody that works for government, anybody that is affiliated with government is not smart, does not love the Gambia, has no respect for human rights, has no respect for Gambians. This narrative and this mentality that some elements of our society try to propel needs to be checked. Government has employees of almost 100,000 people. And these are our brothers and our sisters that we deal with on daily basis, and we know them to be genuine, to be honest, to be respectful, to be responsible people. But when they talk to us at official level, we look at them like garbages. Let me first come to ceesay's case. Ceesay, as I know him and his role, is a communications officer. His job is to advise government or the ministry about information that he thinks should be consumed by the public. Information in foreign affairs that Sehu feels, and it feels that Gambians need to know this. He advises the ministry. He writes the press statements. when information comes to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Sekou, the information that is relayed to Sekou gives the public those information. He is not a decision maker. He does not sit on the table where decisions are made. He is not one of those that is in charge of any of these things that you guys are talking about. That is what Sekou's role is. You as a Gambian, Sekou is supposed to be a mediator or a medium between the ministry and the public. Lovette, you called Sekou. Sekou responded to your call. You guys had a discussion. And Sekou told you what he knew is happening on up to the second that you and Sekou started talking on phone. You sent him a Facebook request. You guys had a discussion. And Sekou Ceesay, Foreign Affairs, listened to you and talked to you genuinely and honestly. What happened? Lovette went and recorded Sekou Ceesay. And Lovette went and distributed that recorded, audio online. And then, on top of that, blaming Sekou Ceesay for his unwillingness and for government's unwillingness to help the women in. I will come to that. But for now, about Sekou and Lovette. And what Gambians see is how bad the Minister of Foreign Affairs is. Gambia no le minje wolem Minister of Foreign Affairs mantela doko keka and Sekou nyol mantela doko keka. But Sekou la doko mindi nita sulata information la Foreign Affairs yeta Sekou ya. Sekou mu information officer, the communications officer lo. Few fe nyanda fola molie Gambia nole Sekou la doko mindi ngafo Gambia nole. Minister kaiko Sekou nyimfo Gambia nole Sekou ya fo Gambia nole aya safe aya fo Gambia nole. Sekou buka decision make ala palaso mamfutawoto min discosta agrita Sekou ye wole sambaye nang ye min sambaye ne ka Sekou nyinne fota nyinne keta afo molie nyinne be caring Sekou yo fo molie bari Sekou la doku ke la moy mol fanala to listen to people come to Sekou talks to them about what he knows the government is doing. But then in that conversation you recorded Sekou. That is what Lovette did. I Sekou record the conversation. Adung amafa Sekou I'm recording you. Because amafa Sekou this is going to be a recorded conversation. And those of you that live in the West, you know, when companies call you or you call companies, when they are recording you, they tell you, because it's your privacy and it's your right to know that I am being recorded, especially when you are dealing with people on official matters. Lovette recorded Sekou and went and distributed that online. To do what? To help the situation? To help Gambians come from Lebanon? Or to try to score a populist point against Sekou Ceesay and Minister of Foreign Affairs? What was he trying to do? What was he trying to achieve in that? What was he trying to do? Now, people are not going to talk about that. Sekou's private conversation with Lovette is not supposed to be in the media. Now, that is a big problem. And I've not seen any journalist, any good Gambian talking about that. And you are not supposed to do that. Lovette, that was wrong. That was very wrong. If you want to work with government, you have to be as credible as you have claimed to be. We don't care if you have millions. Respect and honor and trustworthiness is what people care about. If it's about money, we have drug dealers that are multi-millionaires. They have hundreds of millions of dollars. Nobody wants to deal with them because it's not about their money. It's about their character. It's about their trustworthiness. And it's about what they are involved in. Drug dealers too have money. Some people get money by killing people. Some people get money by defrauding people. So it's not about the money that you want to assist with. It's about how you approach, how much respect you have given to the people that you are dealing with. And I feel that is very disappointing. Now, we that are outside, and we will continue to talk about this, but the same way you think government is bad is the same way we believe and trust that the government is good. Now, you will continue ranting as you are doing, but I can tell you this for sure, that it is a Gambian nature. It is a nature in Gambians to always portray that angelic part of themselves and not the part that is worth coming out for the public to know. Now, for those that want to know, mini alonko alafta tonyala alanin kilai. Nte, minube fengende arabu ko na problem olonde. Because I know how cruel some of them are and how much they mistreat people. It's not even only the people in Lebanon that wants to come home. There are people in Saudi Arabia that wants to come home. There are people in Kuwait that wants to come home. These are Gambians in the Middle East. They want to come home. Now, by law too, there are questions about how much role government can play in bringing back citizens. But if government agrees to bring back citizens, what else is involved? Now, it will interest you to know, Ko, some people, many alonko, they are in Lebanon right now and want to come back to Gambia, have criminal records against them. They have criminal charges against them. There are great part of them mini alonko ila moli e bulale ko e seina, ila employers oli e bulale ko e seina. But then ila document all either are expired or some of their documents are seized. They are not with them. They need documents. There are some mini alonko iborta ila dokula al kotole illegally because there are contracts that are signed. Adun dolbe kono ye sunyaroleke. Some of them stole. Whether they are stranded or not stranded, that's fine. But Lebanon has its laws. In as much as we love our sisters, in as much as we want our Gambian sisters to come home, we have to be truthful. Tonya fo aning adamaya nga tilinga tonya fo. Hanna tumakete badi ngolti. Mo batata nyawnya la kuoto tonya fo je. Nimo ye sunya roke bankola luato. There are situations. They have some of them, and I would again say this. Some of these girls, ye sunya role kela employer ya. Ye report police. Gambia government has to deal with Lebanese government as a responsible country and government. You don't go and pick a flight. As a matter of fact, Gambia has a chartered flight. They have prepared a chartered flight. Mi alonko lafta wale tanyil kama. Nale problemo soto janal katela moy Lovette la. Gambia dingol bemu kilinet. Momodu Tangara bije nalman seku sise soto. At least just do a little bit of digging aleta. There are bureaucracies. There are a lot of difficulties. Gambia mansa kunda fonte lafla minna puru wo etaraje. The intention is to just get a chartered flight and go and get these people and bring them to Gambia. But first, they work on their documents, but then some of them have charges. Many alongo they have to pay the Lebanese government, and immigration, some of them overstayed their visas. You are supposed to stay in Lebanon for 2 years. You stayed for 5, 6, 7 years. You are supposed to stay for 1 year. You stayed for 3, 4 years. Some of them overstayed their visas, and by law, those are criminal offenses. They are not supposed to happen. Adunyin sungutol minika diamale laftanala manzakunda malla finyimfola manzakunda manyanyinkela. I mean, they have to tell you too, nte I overstayed my visa. In Europe, in America, in Africa, in Gambia, in Lebanon, that is not legal. Adunalie pushing if you push. Documents from the government of Lebanon is with the Gambia government. Sometimes we want to protect the privacies of people. And what the Gambia is doing again through its consulate in Lebanon, is to work those things out with the Lebanese government. Gambia cannot go with Yankuba, General Yankuba Drame, General, Mamad Cham, General Fenke, Colonel Drame, with weapons and go and land in Lebanon and forcefully bring Gambians home. They cannot do that. That is not what Gambia can do. Gambia has to communicate to Lebanese government. That is what happens. They communicated to the Lebanese government and they have indicated, because some of these people have overstayed and they have penalties against them for overstaying in the country. Gambia government has to work that out. There are some who ran away and their employers reported them to police that they have stolen their properties. Whether that is true, I don't know. I know Arabs sometimes can be terrible. They can treat Gambians as slaves. I know that. So whether they have stolen the properties of their employers or ex-employers or not, Gambia government has to work with Lebanese government to clear those things out. These are some of the things that are happening. Do we have to tell you Fatu Manka mimbe nyimol kono woy criminal charges le soda sunyarol ke for the ya fay toure woye overstay la tata Lebanon anyanda 3 years le kelaje bara 5 years le kije. So Mansakunda, Gambia government is too responsible to come and tell you everything. Go, Fatu Ture, I Kodole Sunya ala employable. Fenke, that is that. Some of them have been there for 9 years, 7 years, 6 years without proper visas. But Gambia government has all of these documents from the Lebanese government. But the objective is one. The objective is one. Lafta nyimol chikala na nenge sambana suoko no nga domandoma. Lovette, if you want to go and get these people, wallahi amazing. I commended you to go and get them. But when it comes to the area of Gambia government, they will do what is required of them by law. Naliano aliye mol hate, naliano aliye mol neng, naliano aliye fania la mol kang, naliano aliye populist points ol fintindi, tonya mol be sabat la tonya kanne, fana hana kuyata Gambia be. Kullu hakin walau kana murran. Ana lafta Gambia be mo head ni lafta yesango ni banko be la nyoka sam fata worolo ni banko fata worolo abe la nyoka ya jurmina molka mol bi jele minu be tonyal fola kadiya murek danko kamansa kunda totinya ke ite just to get popularity ate mo sambal la kadiya mo ka foko ha nalbe carte o fayla. You think Gambians are listening to you? Hakili malu kanyinin karole ke janni ka act. Fas'alu ahla dhikri in kuntum la ta'lamun. But ye message o janata rek because this message is from government. Wala nye message o bota janne, the individual that is giving this message is supporting government. Ye mo be muta wuloti. Kuma na bota mansa kunda itaya wuliadam. Kuma ni mansa kunda le afuete wulialom. Kuma ning alfa le afuete Gambia la alfalu wo mu wulialti. Molmi yalonko ibe drok wafo lebe ibe ku furingo lebe femkola ni wonate wulta chapa rek danko if it is against government is true. Ali America everybody will fall in line with this nonsense. Ning ala tema. Gambian be bataring banta abenyanta nala nyimbankoka. Baral kumo fo molye mimu tonyati. Gambia government ita no. I play no tare ka ita nyil chikana ay samanate kenola. Nga fale and I will repeat again. Gambia government has documents. They are working with the Lebanese government to get back our Gambians from Lebanon. But again, that cannot be possible if the issues of criminal charges, the issues of theft that are reported to Lebanese government are not cleared. And that is what the Gambia government is doing. And we will do that If you are a private person, you want to send a jet fighter, go and get Gambians from Italy. Go and get Gambians from Lebanon, Kuwait. Go. That is commendable. In fact, when Nigerians were being killed or other Africans were being killed in South Africa, you know what happened? It was private individuals that chartered a flight and went, because government has bureaucracies. Buhari's government has money. Buhari's government in Nigeria has money. But Buhari's government didn't go, it didn't send a flight, it sent the ambassador, they summoned, they discussed it at the level of ambassadors. Buhari sent a foreign minister there. When a lot of Nigerians were killed, they didn't send a plane with the foreign minister, Nigerian or Kamana. It was a private individual, a Nigerian that sent a chartered flight to go and bring the Nigerians. And in fact, in Saudi, even in Lebanon, the Nigerians, there are philanthropists, great people like Lovette, that helped the Nigerians from Lebanon and brought them home. Gambia government is trying a chartered flight. But atul kuma bota mansa kunda omu wulialti. Sa lafta munal. Mansa kunda ye mil long. Ye min sote bole folali. Believe in what you want. Yes. And if almasit, nita mala mansa kunda la kuoke, taye bomo taye mansa kunda, ita bo jebom. Allah Kuo saying is so sad. The Gambian case is so sad. And this is not about government. This is about who we are. As we speak, wallahi, mbe kalla nyinna. Baro manjarante na islamu ngatinya. Baro manjarante ning alekuya. Mansakunda manjaranye na ning alekuya. Bari nyi mansakunda ndene na mandoko kije as a person. Adu mone na man kodi dintala nyi mansakunda. Billahi wallahi tallahi. Mone na man te jo. Mansa tallabe seriyaring. Ngana sunkaro minke. Ninna kaburo te mambital ning alabe benna jendama. Nena man kodi soto je. Nena man doku ke mansakunda. Fenti je mi alon ko munafa we sa fonte nga soto. Mben faye. Mben na private doku wala. Mben na karan wala. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Adu nin kuo keta adol ka wuri nyameng. I have as much concern as a Gambian, as all of you. Lafta Gambia eta nyato, lafta corruption e bang Gambia, lafta mansa kunda do koke, lafta mol be daha, aliye ngani nyima min soto Gambia ni Gambia dingol. Nga the same thing ne so. Bari nak ndeka minke, mbuka mo kili nyinin kade, nim kuo keda, Gambia mbe tembo minto, nim mo kendo te abe nyanta hakilotu, nim kumo fintita nang, hakilotu jannika kidide. Hakilotu bake jannika kidi. Because faniamo siata, diamula siata, government konna siata bake. Politiko, moman sila ala la kote ke fanial be fol. Adumbe nyimen fola mba fola ni mansata lale tema. Ni aje nyimol manano juna. Follow. Gambia government has to write to Lebanese government through our foreign affairs, to our consulate. Ya family. Gambia government, that's all they can do. They write to a sovereign government, a sovereign country, a sovereign state with their rules, with their laws, with rights and responsibilities. Gambia government wrote to Lebanon through its foreign affairs, and they had to wait for response. Lebanon responded. How long would it take for a country to respond? Sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 1 week, sometimes 4 weeks. No matter how urgent you stated on the letter. And they wrote to the Lebanese government. They cannot write to the girls and say, hey, how and then that's not what happens. Adungamerambe wolone. Ning Gambia after Gambia dingol bondela na Senegal. Mini alongo etara Senegal. They you know, you deal with government. Ini mansa kundala ka diamu. Ini mansa kundala ka kacha. Adung ite korondota nyaonya. Nite o mansa kunda safe. Wobete jabila watu mina wote tabul. That is not in your hands. Gambia wrote to Lebanese government through our consulate, and we waited. Lebanese consulate wrote to us back Kafuko. Gambia din jamal bijela kaitol mambetea de nga kalamta ko ila passport ol mambetea. Ila passport ol dola passport ol table. We what can we do? Ye passport ol dadai. Emergency travel documents. Ye document ol ki ya itandila ko again. Dolu bije nak, well, they overstayed in Lebanon and they have to pay a fine. Some of them in the system, their employers accuse them again, mafoko, wolom tonyati. Because nga qualify lanko, arabo dol mumo kulumba tilimbali ballet. Adung, every person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Nila dokula da police akoeko nde dokula le bembula ina kodol sunya aseke am imela kodi sunya ekoyela kodol sunya ekoyela fengol le sunya e borta police ol ba investigate la ni mu manza kunda de sembe jumale bela. Government is trying to clear those people. Mini alonko, ikoyela employer la fengol le sunya. They are trying to clear those things out. Pour ne pleno ki ni tata airport or the immigration or yela file o jibe. Iko you have a criminal charges against you. Your country cannot just fly you out. And these are some of the things that are happening. But you know, the biggest problem we have as a country is, let us not look at our government as a bunch of irresponsible people. What on the problem? Government cannot do all of it right. I agree. It's not Barrow's government. It's not Macky Sall's government. It's not Donald Trump's government. It's not Boris Johnson's government. It's not Xi Jinping's government. It's not Vladimir Putin's government. No government can get it all right. If government does something wrong, yes, let's criticize and correct them. And we all do that. But when the government says something to you, it eniaja safari rekie baneng. Alkala do ko ke wol. Ni moye feo femfo. Nani tala ko manta do ya baneng. Yake mojawt, yake setanot, yake kafirot. Bodulung. Wo adama ya sifa bitano la nyadile. Ite kala ilafta sembo be membulu. Woye mako reko bari la kuwaite ni wala dili wo dealing kanen dorong. Baro mambetea. Baro da mama mbetea. Aisatu ture mambetea. Ofana da mama mbetea. In nuwa ture mambetea. Ofana da mama mbetea. Dawda Jallow mambetea. Ofana da mama mbetea. Mambure Njai mambetea. Oda mama mbetea. You know, I mean, Seku Ibrahim Ceesay mambetea. Ofana da mama mbetea. Seku Ceesay mambetea. You know, Dr. Tangara mambetea. Ahmad Samata mambetea. Atol Gambia Monsakunda momo be do koleja mambetea. Mansakunda feo fempa atol ye umugulianti. Mansakunda feo femfale ko reko umugulianti. That is bad. Esa songo stupid tabak. Yalo ite. And this is the last time I will ever talk about you. You can go and talk about government and against government and tell nonsense to government. You are not a government official. But I cannot say something about government. Let me block your ass. That's what I'm going to do. This is my Facebook. So first and foremost, Alunga hakiloltu. I'll say government konde. That's fine. You have a right. But let's do it responsibly. To all Gambians, great Gambians out there, I want to let you know that foreign affairs, government of the Gambia is doing all it can to bring its citizens back home. It's doing everything it can to bring its citizens back home. Lovette Nyanta Millona, if you want to work with the government, You have to have respect for government. And out of that respect, do not record people privately without their consent. You have failed to become a partner to an institution. You want me to trust you? If you have money and you want to bring the ladies from Gambia, charter a flight. Go to immigration yourself. Let them give you their information. Go get their passports and travel documents. If you are able to fly to Lebanon, fly to Lebanon and get them home. You are a private citizen. Government will never stop you from going to immigration to get these people passport. Government does not have that right. They don't have that powers to stop you from getting a passport for a Gambian citizen. Gambia government will not do that, Lovette. Gambia government will not stop you from going to Brussels Airlines, Kuwaiti Airlines, Airways, or Royal Morocco, or Emirates Airways. They will not stop you, or British Airways or Swedish Airways. Go after you get passports for them. If you want, get them their passports, buy them flight tickets, go to Lebanon. If you can handle the matter with Lebanese authorities, that's fine. That's what government wants. It wants matters as fast as possible. If you want it, if you have a mean that is faster, sometimes you want us to be in confrontation, let's do it. You don't own this country. Yeah, Nigerian private individual did it. He didn't shout on government or said, he just chartered a flight, bought tickets and went and collected Nigerians from South Africa when they were being killed. And he picked them up. In fact, in Lebanon, private Nigerians helped and got Nigerians out of Lebanon, and they are in Nigeria. They went to Nigeria. The other day I was watching the videos of how much they appreciated fellow Nigerians for helping them out. But if you decide that you want to partner with government, get your facts together. And you have to be responsible in the way you deal with the government. You don't just go and record a government employee secretly when you tell them that the conversation was meant to be private between you and the government employee, and then you went and blew that out, and you still want to partner with government. Hell no. Who are you? Hell no. Adu momora nimfana lafta Allah nying gender nonsense sometimes. And I'm going to get to that too. Ale keol ni musol da aye beke adama dimot ibele bunya sok. Mimma nyankela ala fa ma nyankela. Ngamoy ye femforo kiloma mo bebe diamula because it's about women. Mo bebe diamula because the ladies in Lebanon are women. But nyimusundi ngomi nyi record. Ne atuma ko seku sisele nyimusundi Lovette record a funtindi. Atol activist albe kulubali akuma jamal fala band. But albede min fango disappoint is the journalist community. There are a lot of government journalists. Aliye Sehu Ceesay lonne. A lot of you Gambian journalists work with Sehu Ceesay. Somebody recorded him without his consent. You journalists know that is not correct. You know the ethics of journalism. It happened to your fellow brother Sehu Ceesay. You are all keeping quiet. You have your media houses. You do not invite Sehu Ceesay to talk to Sehu about the situation of Gambians in Lebanon. Al journalist all bebe dering. Sehu ni minutata university. Al bebe dering. Al mandia amal be dering tuk. Anatol doltata university. Sehu e kelo minke fange activisti. Sehu is more honest than you when it comes to being truthful and holding government to account, irrespective of whether he's working for government or not. Ya Jamme Sehu Sorong. You know how many times the brother you are exposing, how many times Ya Jamme locked him up for writing stories? He is a super activist. And he does not support government on any nonsense. And what he said is the fact. You have no idea. You have no information. You have nothing that, any information about the government. You went to a government agency for information because you want to work with them. They told you what is happening. You don't believe in it. Who do you want to work with? Is that not a mental instability? Denga buga liggéey ak jiite parce que jiite moo am doole wala jiite moo nekk right authority yow denga buga liggéey ak jiite denga ñëw jiite pour jël information jiite wax la information pour nga liggéey ak moom yow denga dem nga ne jiite fenkat la ba léegi denga buga liggéey ak jiite yow ban façon nit nga bugloo liggéey ak jiite yow am nga sa agenda sa own agenda ngay am soo amut agenda loo bugg a def mooy assist loo bugg a def mooy dimbale ci tuuri yàlla ci tuuri gambianism loo def doo ko def parce que seeku mooy right authority pour nga liggéey ak moom soo ñëwee ci seeku nga laaj ak nga toog ak moom nga waxtaan ak moom ci guddi out of office hours mu jox la time mu explain nan la ñépp lu mu xam parce que seeku nekkul di authority ko xam ne moo nekk di def affaire yi seeku is not the decision maker. Seeku is just a communicator, disseminator of information, distributor of information. That's his job. Mu wax la lu mu xam ci affaire yi mu wax la lu mu xam ci mbir mi yow nga record ko nga dem nga distribute boobu ba léegi danga bugg a liggéey ak seeku boobu ak institution am duma ko def ci nekkut man la duma ko def parce que yow bugguloo dimbale nit ñi ñoo xam ne ñu nge sofa si foreign land bugguloo leen dimbale. If you really want to help them, even if government is bad, for the sake of the people you want to help, you have to do things with decorum, with respect, with civility, and with trust, mutual trust. It has to be done with mutual trust. It has to be done with respect and honor. That is what it has to be. Why denga dem nga record nit ñi ya nga dem nga buloo loolu si media yow danga foog ne yaa ngi dimbale nit ñi ñoo xam ne ñu ngi toroxal si àll ba nekkuloo di leen dimbale yow nekkuloo di dimbale kenn yow destroying kat nga yow yaaxa kat nga te danga war a xam loolu soo buggee waxal Facebook waxal ba nga wax lan moo njëriñ government mu ngi quiet te dañoo def luñ xam bugga nañ ko def te they are going to do what they are supposed to do and they will do it with genuineness, and if you bring them home, fantastic. Government has that money saved for something else more important. Pam! So amee sa millions yi nga bugga dimbalen go dimbale len indil len Gambia. That fantastic, like Charles Taylor would say. If you have them, if you have the money to do it, I mean, amazing. Do it. Government will save the money to charter a flight to go and bring 36 or 40 people, and that money will go somewhere else more important. There are Gambians too in Kuwait that wants to come home. There are many in Libya, in war-torn Libya. You know how many Gambians are in Libya and they want to come home? Many of them. In Italy even. In Italy, go. There are Gambians in Italy that wants to come home. There are Gambians in England that are stranded and wants to come home. Yes, there are Gambians in all these places. So, ame halis puru dimbale Gambians, ñu nekk Lebanon, fantastic. But then, government is an institution with principles, with procedures, and they will do this without fear or favor. If you have powers to bring down atomic weapon, bring it. I wish I were a government spokesperson. Kulubalia Jamal Bekering. I wish I were the government spokesperson. Some of these are irresponsibility. Hate government employees. But be responsible. Be respectful. Be civil. Be trustworthy in dealing with people. Because they are working with government. More bail after government kala wulolti. That's not our business. You have to have respect. I don't care how many times people help. I don't care. We are all in the world of philanthropism. I've assisted people today that have their master's degrees and they are working. I've assisted more than 300 Gambians with scholarships, my own scholarships, my own money. I have a foundation, I have a charity, the Gittehs Foundation. Probably there are people that are watching here that I sponsored them at the university. Probably you need to go and ask about that. I have sponsored people from primary school, grade 3, up to university, and they graduated. I have done that not for 3, 5, 6, 7 people, and I have Gambians at the university that I'm assisting. And I equally did things to help people, to raise funds for people to come from places like India. Ngaboyo for a minna passport or filter. He has worked he has a job with Microsoft, a young Gambian. He was in India. And there are people that knew that I raised funds for him. He left India. He came down to Canada. He has his degree in computer engineering. And he's working he just got a job with Microsoft. That is that guy whose passport is finished. We do it with respect when government authorities are involved. We do it with utmost respect. And that was when Yahya Jammeh was in power. Yahya Jammeh was the one in power. But we dealt with relevant authorities with respect. I did not agree with Yahya Jammeh. Government people knew about that at the time. I was working for Fatu Radio. But we helped the boy with relevant Gambian authorities without insulting Yahya Jammeh, without ridiculing the Foreign Affairs Minister Nene McDowell Gay, without ridiculing anybody. Because we cared about the young man and his future. And that was why we helped him. And we brought him to Canada. And today he has a salary of $120,000 US. That is his first salary. He's beginning $120,000 US. If I had become rude and insolent and irresponsible and untrustworthy with my job with ministers and the immigration officers, what would happen? The boy would have lost a scholarship, he wouldn't have gotten a document, and he would have messed up in his life. So if you are sensible and you're human, you are not the only people in these things. Alta mol nyininka. Alka philanthropies people are doing for a long time. I have started my foundation when I was in grade 12. My foundation. When I was in Nusrat, grade 12, I had several scholarships. Some of my scholarships, I will use them when they come. Mr. Bojang is alive. Nusrat principal. I will divert them and help fellow students who are in pain. Nusrat principal, Mr. Bojan Tujerang Alkalo, Tayanyininka. I had about 3 scholarships. They don't refund my money to me. We look at a smart boy. Me alonka bekaranga Mr. Bojan na scholarship ta adulta. I transfer to other students. We have done it, helping people. I've sponsored more than 300 Gambians. Finished high school. Some went to university. Even today, billahi wallahi ta'ala, I'm sponsoring people at the University of the Gambia. Mansatullah said, so aldama buka ku kendoke. Ila ku kendeke. You doing good does not give you the license to disrespect people. You are not, that is unfair to our government. Be respectful. Let's respect each other. No respectful, no good person records an individual in a private conversation without letting him know. That's not good. No good person does that. Ndeni mojamal lel kadiam. Ne mojamal le diamut. But in debuka mo record. Recorders solu ya fonyele recorders. Honey recorder Clinton na funota because I will not do it to a human being. No matter how much I disagree with him. Mo kende buka ku kurunke mola. If Lovette Jallow is good, that's fine. But the act of recording a government individual in a private conversation without letting him know is criminal. That's not good. That is bullshit. So you go and phase that out. But then I don't want to be angry here. I support Gambia government. I support President Adama Barrow. We've started this fight, as opposed to those of you who know nothing and think it's money and position that brought me in this. Adama knows me. We've been fighting from 2013 at least. We fought together. Those of you that were following Fatu Radio, you knew. Nobody ever knew Yahya Jammeh was going to lose power, but we took it in good faith. We fought together until 2016. And from 2016, I have not asked for a single job. So those of you that think I am going to talk with a lot of rudeness, because that's what you want. You want all of us to stoop down and let's see what's going to happen. In my corner, and I'm saying, and I'm going to speak the damn truth to everybody that cares to listen. But you know, what's wrong with Gambians? It's about time you realize, government is in charge. Adama Barrow is in charge of Gambia government. Say all that you want to tell him, but he can make you go to sleep at 2 p.m. Say all what you want to say. Mamadou Tangara is in charge of foreign affairs. Shout all you care about. He will do what is damn right. And I know Tangara is doing what is damn right. And when the time comes, they will assist. If you have a better alternative, employ that alternative and get Gambians from Lebanon. We will save the money that Gambia is chartering a flight to go and collect them. We will save the money to pay the Lebanese government for some of them's overstay. They overstay their visas. That is criminal in UK, is criminal in Germany, is criminal in Sweden, is the same thing, criminal in Lebanon. You overstayed your visa, it's criminal. Some of them overstayed their visas. Lebanese government will not allow them to come out without paying those penalties. Government is not super rich. We are going through difficulties in the Gambia. So the little we have, we will spend it wisely. And again, there are some of these people that have allegations against them. And we will say this. We will not be irresponsible enough to bring the names of those who allegedly stole their employers' monies and properties. We will not do that. Like Lovette did to Ceesay, after she assured him, we are not going to, this conversation is between you and I. There are some sisters, Mini Alonko, they have allegations against them. Adun government is working that out with Lebanese authorities. It's not going to be as fast as all of us want it. There are ideal aspects of the world and there are practical aspects of the world. Nimu economy soti, there are very powerful economic theories in the books, but they are not practically feasible. Nimu ingenuity, civil engineer, there are amazing theories that are in the books about construction, about bridges, about things. If you come to real world, they are not practical. If you are a mechanical engineer, there are wonderful theories on paper. If you are a communications engineer, there are wonderful theories about communications. Laplace transform, like for us that are, come-end people, you have electrical engineers, the most perfect conductors of electricity, but do we have them? No. Every transmission of electricity, there are dissipations of power. We want the ideal ones. And if you go to the textbook of electrical engineering, there are fantastic theories that talks about the ideal transmission of current. You will lose nothing, 100% good. But practically that is not possible. You have dissipations along the way of power. Governments have ideal ways on paper of how they want to do things. But when it comes to reality and practicalities, it's not possible, it's not feasible. And we have to be ulul albabs. We have to have some wisdom to understand those. We want to bring them home to their people. You think baro malafa toy dia. Adoka baro mutaka stupida. Nenyin Gambianol bonnina Lebanon ye sambana. Iba fola baro baraka. Government ala baraka. That is what Ahmad Gittehs wants. That is what Ceesay wants. That is what Adama Barrow wants. And that way mbeto dia la sotolan toy dia. That is what Tangara wants. Is agency carte keso win. There are many people that are unnecessarily angry because they are misinformed. You think Barrow wants people to be insulting his mother for something that is so easy to do? Barrow malafiola. Almal bal kanu Barrow barot. Almal famal kanu Barrow famad. Wallahi Barrow malafali ya baneng. Aya ba kanu la ya bunya. Ala muso na la dimbal kanu. Koma ali albal na la muso kanu nyama na la dimbayal. Barrow malafali ya baneng. Yamara na sembo sodo kanyin ke kanyin dia mo be stop. Yamara Barrow takel. Flight bije. Chartered flight sodo da. But in Gambia no de fintila na wo nyama. Dol bije they have no problem. But you cannot pick one and then get a chartered flight, go pick two, and then get a chartered flight, go pick three, and then go get a chartered flight, go pick 10. No. We have to clear all of them and bring them home. That's what we are trying to do. Barrow fana alkami mira wote de Barrow man stupid de. Alkami mira wote. Ko Barrow bela fila drong mole taraka baneng. Barrow wants to run for elections in 2021. And he wants to win the elections. And it is Gambians that will vote for him. And Gambians will only vote for him when they are happy with him. And some of these misinformations that people are giving out, Barrow Malafila, he does not want unnecessary talks and unnecessary criticism of his government. If he has powers, if he has the means, he will do this right away. But a man soto. But ni mol na da fana yo falie minni alo inata yo falie alcohol mu wulolet. Atol mal londi soto je. Ni minni londi soto inata ya falie. Wol ñoo wulol te kering. Wol ñoo mo koropli ngol te kering. Minnu mal londi soto ni man sakunda man diamu imam fellonje. Ni wole man sakunda banen ale lawol. Banko bitano nyadir. Mbe banko sambala no nyato nyadir. Ite malong mi ya faham ayalong waya foye iko be wulial iman dalila soto kabe wulia fol wo dalila tem iman dalila soto kabe wulial bari because ite man la fala iman la fala man sakundala e kabe wulial wo adama din sifa nyadi lord hakili sifa nyadi adama din kungo kono kaw sifa alimbe ngake kilinti adama dimbuka be soto rong tole dorne ka umira ko barola mansa kunda wol corruptal drong barola mansa kunda wol mu wulo leti drong barola mansa kunda wol useless tal drong wonyon hakilinta ya kumo anyon hakilinta ya mirote kere sako seku Ceesay ibita ibe seku nindara mu defan time Momodu Tangara record that is even better but sekula dokuo is manzakunda kote manzakunda nyine decide cabinet minister nyine decide permanent secretary nyine decide seku nam come here okay this is what we have decided about the government go and tell people nyine bije Seku ya fomoliere. Seku told people, you know, bureaucracies, governments, things that is so hard. When you want to get Gambians from Lebanon right now, what is in the hands of the Lebanese right now is a totally different agenda. Hundreds of their people are killed. They need a lot of money to help Lebanese. Explosion happened. There is so much pressure on the Lebanese government. You have a lot of refugees from Syria in this terrible war. There is sectarian violence in Lebanon, a lot of things. You know, there are international fundraisings for Lebanon. We know all of this. So if you are dealing with such a government that is right now very highly preoccupied about its people, It's not easy. But Gambia mansakunda ba kata kannere. Chartered flight yole nyining. Ibe nyilla kaytol dada kan adi binale. Ndelaftali o kalamuta. Bayri ndefana kundi we nyining karo kele ngo kalamuta. Mba falato le minula badi ngol mu nyimolti. Ko mansakunda laftale ke sambanang. Adung Adam Barona la mansakunda ba kata kanne ke samana. They recognize their citizenship. They recognize their rights. They recognize their humanity. And they are ready to work with anybody to help them. Provided you stick to the rules and not in there with an agenda of recording someone secretly and then insulting someone that you're supposed to work with. That's not going to happen. If it were me, half billions. Gambians, those ladies will be there for as long as Gambia can collect $1 every day. $1, $1, from a chartered flight. That is what I would prefer. Not somebody that I want to work with and all you do is record me without my consent and you think you are a hero. Oh, okay, she's a hero. You think you are a hero? Continue and see. And if you think Adam Barrow is going to lose election because of this in 2021, we will meet in the Gambia in 2021. We're not even joking about that. I'm not even shaking my head about that. You think Adama is going to lose election for that? This Facebook message, go and make a survey as to how many Gambians learn in Facebook survey out of 2 million people. You don't even have 10,000 people that knew what is happening. And they will come home and hakilimali mansakunda fahamle. Nidia mute kela moi. They don't just take information from the face value. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu. Gambia din jamale wolon fanande. Ne information of way. Kana miracle, they are shallow minded. Gambians are stupid. They don't listen when you tell them information. Quietly, they will make findings, they will make follow-ups, they will listen to each party with objectivity. Objectively, they will listen to each party and they will make conclusions. They'll make conclusions. Yo, mbal kondo na mbal tendula mbal jaila. Finally, I knew part of my statements were a bit out of, I was a bit tensed. I got a bit angry. But I would apologize. Especially a great friend say, no, don't stoop to their level. Yeah, I'm not supposed to. So, nim kumol kandida jam, mbemol dandida, bal hake danda, diamo fana mandia. So I am appealing and I am saying sorry for those that are elderly as well. And they are listening, they are watching. And they are watching not because they are angry with government, but they want to get facts. They want to get realities. Sekou Ceesay Foreign Affairs is a gentleman par excellence. Ayaja mekelele, ya soron foy batata. Ye Sekou soron. Sekou has done a lot of job in journalism. He has done a lot of human rights works. And he's working so hard right now on this case. Every day, Sekou ni Momodu Tangara Benyola ala boss. Every day. Doctor, minister, what's happening? My boss, what's happening? And then that's what Sekou is doing all the time. But Nita Nadeyo Fenge, and Gambians, that part of it is not wrong. It's okay. Any wrong that is done to people that you are not supporting, you don't care about it. And we are here insulting gittehs. This lady recorded Sekou without Sekou's consent. Sekou is just an information disseminator. Mansakunda imimfa kana ay wala falia. Aman sembe soto. He's a junior employee. Ibala record le ba nenna. Ibe kumajawol fola. Atol be altela filawol. Altela fila alni moli kacha private conversation ya al record ya findin altela fila bare hani bi sekula yem tonyero minke sekula o mal mirade adu mansata lale afo irrespective of who the individual is inni haramtu dhulm nyimu hadisul qudusil inni haramtu dhulm ala nafsi waja'altuhu bainakum muharraman fala tadhalamu ala ma foko nini mobe nyola ni atonye no problem nita ni momandia ni at ala mofo ako inni haramtu dhulma ala nafsi nde mansata la malafi tonye rolankan alkanan tonye my servants waja'altuhu bainakum muharraman adalda maltema nga haramu yale malafa alda maltema fala tadhalamu alkana nyotonye kama qala rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam Nyemo hadithul qudusil. A very authentic hadith. Say nimoy motonye. Ye Lovette support nya. No matter how great a work he is doing, no matter how philanthropic Lovette is, no matter how great gittehs sponsored how many people in university. Does that stop people from calling me a liar and a non-Gambian and a stupid man? Does that stop people from insulting my mother and father? No, they have not. Because they thought I'm doing things that are wrong. Lovette, no matter how much you support or she supports people, if she does something wrong, aliyalnya kasi wala. Tu'minuna bibadil kitab wa takfuruna bibad. What kind of law are you applying? Lovette wronged Saikou Ceesay. And that has to be made very clear. And if Lovette wants to help, Lovette has to trust the government. Government is not asking Lovette to give them money. They never told Lovette, the money you have, bring it to us. They didn't tell her that. She just asked questions. If she wants to help, she can buy air tickets. Government is not going to ask her to buy tickets. Government is chartering a flight. Lovette can keep the money. If the ladies come, Lovette can give the ladies money. Let them start a life with it. But if you want to help them, even if government is doing something wrong, for the sake of the people that are suffering, you have to learn to protect the interests of others and your own interest. And this one, you have not protected either your interests nor the interests of our sisters in Lebanon. And I think that is the part of intelligence that we need to have. Surwa kunda xam nañ loolu torop soo buggee dara soo buggee akra danga ñama kaani mu ne danga ñama kaani long soo buggee akra danga ñama kaani soo buggee dimbale danga ñeme naga ngay muna patience naga ngay muna doman pour affaire yi ba ci interest yi nit ñi boobu. That's what we have. And again, alim baneng distribute the audios, aliem banning, aliem fanning, alia fonye Baro kanjo brown envelope, red envelope, green envelope. I know Baro is smart. He wants to win the elections and he knows what it takes to win the elections. Government is very stretched financially. And government has limited ability over the citizens in other countries. America sembo warta nyawnya. China ka Americanol mutale ye execute. America sembo warta nyawnya. North Korea ka American dingol muta ye sorong. Russia American dingol muta ye sorong. Yaya Jammeh kill Americans. Ibu Job and Alaj Mahmoud Ceesay. Yaya Jammeh killed them. They are Americans. American citizens. I mean, beheaded them. America didn't take B-52s and bombs and come and blast them. You take it easy. Huh? Yeah, America could not do anything. They pursued it at Congress, at Parliament. Internationally, things are so difficult to deal with. But a lot of us don't understand it. But we are experts in everything that we have no idea about. The underlying fact is all about hate and hatred. That is only affecting us that are hating. Because Alade tonyamo ani wolom, whether you care or not, Allah doesn't care. He will give what he wants to give and the way he wants to give it. You complain and rant and bubble and explode and compact and expand and constrict. Allah will do what he wants to do. And we know Baro is genuine and his government is genuine, especially in the case of these people in Lebanon. So mbal kondona, mbal tentula, that's fine. We love Baro. We support this government. It has shortcomings, but that notwithstanding, we have repatriated a lot of Gambians from Libya. A lot of Gambians we assisted. The government assisted with international, organization for immigration. They helped a lot of Gambians, repatriated them. Hundreds of Gambians came back home. So why would these people be different? We want to help them, but through proper channels. And that sometimes is cumbersome, it's challenging, it's not easy, but that is how governments work. not how private individuals work, but how governments work. Mbal konton na mbal tentula mbal jaila atol hakilimal mimbella moy kan minu disagree ta, you have right to disagree, but I have right to say, and I don't give relevance to insults and orders. Mbal tentula mbal jaila. These Gambians in Lebanon, I assure you, will come back. I don't know when, but inshallah, ngal tentu ngal nimbara. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Fellow Gambians, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah ta'ala wa barakatuh. As a lot of you are aware, either via Facebook posts or videos or via conventional newspapers in the country, there are some Gambians that are stranded in Lebanon, Beirut. These Gambians, as we know, are ladies. If there are men, we are not yet aware of that. A lot of them are ladies. And they went to Lebanon, of course, at different times. Some spent 5 years, some, according to information, 9 years, some 6 years, some 4 years, some 3 years. And, a lot of them, for one reason or the other, are no longer in their jobs, and they badly want to return to the Gambia, to their families. Now, there is a lot of you knew about it, because I cannot go into the history of the situation. But to be very brief about the history and to the thing that I want to discuss, to the thing that I want to express my views on, would be, that's what I'm going to be spending a lot more on. The history is just going to be a bit, because, we had a blast in Beirut, an explosion. I mean, a chemical depot somewhere in Beirut, in the capital in Lebanon, exploded. And, before that, economic hardships, were, of course, looming and growing in Lebanon because of the war in Syria and a lot of instability in the Middle East. So, when the explosion happened 3 or few weeks ago, a lot of people that had domestic workers, especially these Gambians, 99% of them went to Lebanon and served as domestic workers for Arab families. Now, for most of them, their employers let them go because they could not afford to employ house helps anymore. And they wanted to go home. But then they got stranded. The government was appealed to, Gambia government. And government of the Gambia was its best, was going through procedures, bureaucratic procedures, to try and
bay badu waynana magisal duma la way ci say maam da baña ju waay dina